Bună ziua, dragi prieteni, bine ați revenit alături de noi. Astăzi avem o ediție specială, chiar foarte specială, pentru că este prima de acest gen. Pentru prima oară avem o finală a unui concurs în direct și suntem și noi foarte curioși să vedem cum se va finaliza acest concurs. Este vorba despre un concurs organizat, inițiat, să spunem, de un antreprenor și organizat împreună cu Facultatea de Arhitectură de Interior din cadrul Universității de Arhitectură și Urbanism Ion Mincu de la București. Și am alături de mine doi invitați speciali, reprezentanții celor două părți, ca să spunem așa, implicate. Dar pentru că Frank este un antreprenor care nu este vorbitor de limba română, vom derula această ediție în continuare în limba engleză și sper că veți fi cu toții foarte în confort să înțelegeți ceea ce noi vom vorbi. So, hello again. Hello Frank, very nice to meet you. Hello Mrs. Dean. It's very good to have you here.
It's nice to be here. Thank you for invitation.
So just let me introduce you my two guests properly. Frank Basinski is an entrepreneur. He has a long career in business, especially in sales, in all over Europe, but not only. He sometime fell in love with Romania and decided to start doing something, an entrepreneurial project that involves Romania. And could you please, Frank, tell me more about your project before I switch to our dean?
Ja. Cel puțin pot să zic, bine v-am găsit, mulțumesc, sunt foarte onorat să fiu aici.
Bine ai venit.
So, about the project. So, it was on, one of the travels. I'm a motorbike enthusiast, love traveling, went to Romania for the first time a few years ago. And besides being so fascinated with the beautiful nature that is around here, obviously, on travels you have to eat, and I just figured out that somehow the tastes of the natural products that are grown here in Romania have a so much more intensive and rich taste than most of the products that we can buy in the supermarkets in most of the European capitals or even in other parts of the world. And so out of that, somehow the idea was born that I thought the rest of the world needs to taste this, And so that was where it started to brew in my mind. But what really kicked it off and made me decide to go for it was that as you go through Romania to discover that all these, not just the products, but also the people and the culture have so many stories to tell that lend themselves beautifully to create a brand that helps tell these stories, and then you also have products, So and amazing products as it is. So that's how I then decided. I said, I think this is a really good story. I think I'm going to go for it. That's how we ended up here then.
Yeah, I love the idea. We talked about it before.
Yes.
And it is really good ideas, and hopefully you will be successful. Actually, I have no doubt you will be.
Thank you very much.
The taste is good, the product is good. Now we have
the stories are good.
Exactly, the stories are good. So now I'm going to switch to Mrs. Beatrice Gabriela Yoger. I hope I pronounced it correctly. It's good to have you here, Mrs. Dean. You run the faculty and you decided to be part of this endeavor that Frank started. You organized a contest where almost 80 students were involved at the beginning. Could you tell us more about the faculty and how you decided to join this interesting partnership?
Yes, our faculty, which is only 15 years old, we like to show the students also the practical part. So in school, because we're calling it school, in school they are doing projects, but we are trying to involve them in the real life. So we are very happy when the public, let's say the clients, are coming and they are asking us for solutions for different things. This time was a pretty complicated one for the students, because it was the requirement was in fact to build a brand image, which is not an easy thing even for more experienced designers. And overall I think they did pretty well.
Yeah, I think so.
So yes, I was glad when we were connected by someone from the Polytechnical University, in fact, a professor there. And yes, we organized it. We thought about a timetable which would be more convenient for both parties. And then we launched it for the students of our Faculty of Interior Architecture. And there were in fact 86 applications, yes, initially, and we have like 63 final projects. So I think it's a very good ratio of participation.
Absolutely.
Well, we had a bit of incentive also with credits for practical activities if they do this, also for school. But in fact, they worked at this project, which was even, as I said, more difficult than a usual practical. So they worked they had a bit longer time also. And I'm just looking forward to see what was behind it, to see the motivations of the 5 finalists that we chose.
Yes, indeed. This is what we're here for, because today, live, we are going to judge together, the 3 of us, the final 5, the finalists, the 5 projects that passed the preliminary selections. They're all here, and you're going to meet them, all of them, and they will have the opportunity to present their idea. And we like all of them. So it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, I know, it really is.
Yeah, so anyway, let me just say congratulations to both of you. Because you have a great idea, but you also thought about working with the community. And for you, for going on board and being so open. And it's a best practice, I think, for a faculty to be so open and involve students in practical projects. And give them a bit of a flavor of what their work life is going to look like. And I think it was really a good start.
If I may add, really.
The Romanian brand, which is going to be international, right?
Yes, exactly. And it totally deserves that. And the thing that I wanted to add about this, I didn't have the slightest doubt that when I work with Beatrice and her faculty, whose support was amazing, by the way, from the start, that from those students, there will be some talent that will just bubble up, regardless of work experience. I think it's, in my experience, it's quite easy to see, even when you're incredibly young, to see if somebody actually has talent. And I think we have had a number of examples, even some of those examples that are not sitting on the table right now, where we were just saying, look, this was actually great.
Yeah. No, actually, many projects were great. Actually, all of them were nice, but more than 5 were.
Yes.
It was very difficult to choose only 5. In fact.
Yeah. So great job overall, and a win-win partnership, really. And now I'm gonna delay no further our actual contest, and I'm gonna ask Miruna Lup, our first finalist, to join us on this special chair. Welcome, Miruna, come in. Okay. Welcome.
Hello, welcome.
Can we hear Miruna? I hope we can hear her.
Yeah, you have to say something.
Can you say hello?
Hello.
Okay, thank you.
Keep
So
it close.
Miruna, why did you join the contest? Did you like the idea?
I like the idea of a natural product that will end up on the racks of shops, especially profile shops, and I think it was a nice opportunity for us to show our creativity and what we are capable to do.
True. Which one is your jar?
This one is my jar.
Can you tell us about your concept and
Yes,
how it
sure.
stands for whatever Frank wanted to render?
Usually when I have a branding project, I try to find a story behind the company or the product they will sell, so I can create a better connection with the design itself. It was the same with Back to Good. After our Q&A meeting, I had some ideas in my mind, and I doodled them in my sketchbook. And I had various logo designs, but in the end I chose, I think, one of the first 4 or something that was very simple, like a leaf It's simple, it's imperfect, just like life, like nature. And it was just something that resonated with me and the brand. I chose the leaf because it's a well-known symbol of nature, but in my opinion it's also a metaphor for life and its cyclicity, because leaves grow on trees, they mature, then they fall and die on the ground, but the next spring they regenerate. And in this way nature is special and it's immortal, or at least till humans put their hands on it. So this was the idea of the leaf.
Beautiful.
And it's also hand-drawn by me, so it makes it unique. The colors I chose, this is one of the possibilities. The other one was with gold. I chose this simple scheme because, as Leonardo da Vinci said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So for me, this is what can make a product outstanding in today's world. Being as simple and, I don't know, true as it can be. Showing what it truly is in its nature. And I also made a motto or tagline for the company, even though I later found out there was one already. I did so because when I heard the story behind Back to Good, I automatically thought of the big difference between the products we can find in supermarkets and the ones that are homemade. You just can't compare them, and the quality, the taste, anything. So for me, the design process for Back to Good took me back home to Oradea on a early summer afternoon in the kitchen with my mom, helping her with the family's traditional apricot jam. And there my main job is not cooking. It was always making the jar labels.
Okay.
All right.
That was basically the best part besides eating it. So that's why this is actually homemade, what's inside the jar. And this is for me Back to Good, the true taste of nature.
Super. Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions, Frank? Maybe.
I found the story so elegant. I'm also so impressed that she speaks better English than me. But besides that, I do not actually have a question, but I want to say that the elegance of the logo that you've created actually really speaks to me. I love it, I must say. It's really good, yes. And I also showed it several people, at home, and it was one of those that are together with the other ones that are on the table that really stood out, where everybody said, "Wow, this is really good." So I only want to congratulate you for the work that you did.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miruna.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And congratulations for being one of the finalists. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
It's a nice story, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Our next contestant is Alexandra Dan. Let me just say that the order of their appearance, please come in, Maria Alexandra, is based on the number of their registration. So it does not speak about any preferences.
That's right.
Yeah, it's random.
Well, yeah, welcome, Maria.
Welcome.
Hello.
So can you tell us a few words about your project after you point at
Which
your
one is
jar?
This is my
This is your, okay. You can explain it, you can take it in your hand if you want, or you can just give us the brief explanation of what's behind it.
Yes, I will just talk about my project. In the first place, everything starts from the idea of home, because it takes us to the childhood, the time when we enjoy and always have preparations made in the garden of the grandparents or parents' yard. This was the first shoe after we're introduced to the theme.
Just make sure you speak in the microphone so that we can hear you, okay?
Yeah.
The traditional, the authentic being the starting point, I try to make something rustic but also modern at the same time. The circular shape of the logo is chosen to think of a stamp and the image of a traditional house. The colors I choose are earthy tones because I want them to remember customers about the traditional materials used when we're building houses. The label I choose is simple, with accent of the logo, because from my point of view, the simplicity is sophisticated.
This seems to be a motto of the whole school.
Yeah, well,
It's true, but it's true.
But it's
yeah,
true.
it's true. It's very, it's classical truth.
Yeah,
So
it's
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's a good job, isn't it?
It's really good, really good. One of the things that, there are two things about your work that I find amazing. One is the actual depiction of the farmhouse, because it's so intricate and so elegant, and it really also connects really well with the story, or with these stories that are behind their brand. And also, for some reason, I really love the sigil.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really beautiful. I don't know if you can see this in the camera or in the stream, but yeah. So that's really great. I liked it. How did you get the idea about the farmhouse?
I don't know.
It just came up.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, fine. Good.
You can say it in Romania as well.
yeah, if
The
you want
audience
to.
will understand. Frank understands
Yeah.
pretty well
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
So if you want to.
Pur și simplu, după ce a fost prezentată ideea, la asta m-am dus cu gândul. Când ați spus ceva de tradițional
Homemade.
și autentic și natural, bio, și m-am dus cu gândul la acasă.
Okay. Merci, am înțeles. Yay.
Thank you very much, Maria. Congratulations for being one of the finalists.
Yes.
And now we're gonna have our third contestant, which is again a lady, Oana Stan-Vlad. Welcome, Oana.
Thank you
The
so
microphone
much.
is yours.
Okay.
It's okay.
It's open now. Hello.
Hello. Well, what should I start with the whole?
With your story showing
point
us
us
our job.
your jar.
This is my baby.
Okay.
Okay.
So I started the entire process with finding a concept and finding a message that I wanted to convey with this label. And so I started by laying down 3 guidelines, I would say, concerning the philosophy beneath the whole brand. And obviously, as we're talking about a brand that it's all about nature and the respect for nature, we're talking about quality ingredients, we're talking about eco-friendly packaging, and also we're talking about something produced here in Romania. So obviously I wanted something to do with Romanian culture, even if it's remote, academic, conceptual. So I started thinking, what should I do? Like, how can I start this? And I surprised myself thinking about healthy food. And I remember the time when I would spend quite a lot of my time at my grandparents' house. And I remember being quite fussy with food back then. Quite fussy. My parents would have a lot of problem feeding me. But whenever I would go to my grandparents, I would eat, like, no problem, no questions asked. I would eat a lot. And everything was scrumptious. And my grandmother used to say that her food is like as good as her grandmother used to make it. So it was kind of a traditional thing to do it. So I said to myself, okay, this is the concept. I want it to be a gift, a sort of a bottle of a taste of home. So I need to create an emotional connection to the customer, to create this feeling of, the trust, of comfort and sheltering. And I wanted, obviously, as talking about tradition and traditional food making, I wanted to be simple, kind of vintage looking, as you can see. I went for black and white combination, a simple font, but I wanted a centerpiece, like a sort of a statement with a logo. And I started playing around the shades, basically, because that's how I started it. I wanted also a symbol in that shape of a circle, because that's where it got me. And I thought to myself, what better to show the respect that the brand has for traditional food making and healthy food making, and also for natural things, than a tree, deeply rooted tree in the ground. But
it didn't quite get to the point of the customer understanding that it's about the comfort of a home, you know, and the feeling, the individual feeling of home. So I took the basic shape of a house and sheltered the tree, so as you can see the logo. So basically the whole process was me trying to create an emotional connection to the customer and create this trust. So yes, we're doing this. It's a simple packaging, elegant, I would say, that gives it, kind of throws it back to when good food was
Yes.
there. Yeah. So yeah, basically that's kind of the whole story of it.
Got it. Wow. Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
very
Quite a
nice
story.
yeah. And touching the emotional connection with the subject of the emotional connection.
Yes,
Totally.
it's subjective as well. Subjective.
Totally.
Yeah.
Look, I think this is you've gone about this in an incredibly smart way. Really, thinking about how can I not just do something that's somehow visually appealing,
Yes.
but how can I also help through the design itself actually help tell a story that connects with what I want to do.
Yes.
So I can really see that
That was the point.
you've been spending some time thinking about this, and then in addition, I would say you really came up with a pretty amazing result.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Agree.
Okay, thank you very much, Oana.
Thank you.
Yes.
Your story was really appealing, like the jar, like all the finalists' jars. Okay, thank you.
Yes,
and
thank you, Oana.
congratulations for being here. Well, we have a gentleman as well in this contest, and his name is Victor Stoicescu. So I invite him to present his project. Welcome, Victor.
Welcome, Victor.
The microphone is yours. Tell us about your project. Which one is it in the
This
first
is
place?
my jar, the one
Okay.
in the middle.
Okay.
What I proposed for the competition, as well as for the logo and the label design, is something simple, which I believe resembles with the philosophy of the brand itself, which comes from the small, simple recipes of small-scale producers, which are still sheltered by the industrialization of their business. My thinking behind designing the logo comes from an image of a sun, which in its essence represents life on Earth, which allows for the growth of all the wonderful ingredients needed to produce the products you wish to commercialize.
Yes.
My thinking was a simple one, but a logical nonetheless, I believe, which without any hidden messages, which I believe will be understood by the end consumer in the end. And what I want to point out as a last thing is the fact that I use only black and white to get a clean image of my logo of what I'm proposing, which will be recognized and remembered by the end consumer.
Nice. Really.
We were wondering
Yeah.
do you think that perhaps this symbol is used by many other brands?
No,
Or do you think it's not the case?
I don't think it's the case.
Especially for food? Probably not for food,
Not for
maybe for
food,
energy or something. So, yeah.
Maybe for that, but not for food.
Because yes, you're right, sun is a very straightforward symbol, and it clearly sends us the idea of life and nature, and it connects the whole thing. And it is a very striking image.
It's like bang in the eye.
Yeah, it's
so,
bang in the eye, yeah.
Yeah. And but in a pleasant way,
In a pleasant
Yeah.
way, absolutely, yeah.
It really
I
stood
like
out because it really also stood out because of that. It is very different from all the other entries because of that fact that it's just so.
That is what
Simplicity.
Yeah.
I wanted to get.
It's easy to remember.
But with
and
elegance,
impact.
it's a simplicity, but with elegance in
Yes,
some way.
yes, of
So
course.
I don't even know. It kind of reminds me of I don't know, some indigenous symbols or something
Yeah.
Mayan or something like that. But besides that, it is just something that I think it's incredibly easy to remember.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
This is striking about it. Any questions or comments?
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you
maybe
very
we'll
much,
comment
Victor.
later.
having me.
Good luck and congratulations for being here
Thanks,
in the first
Victor.
place.
Thank you very much.
Good job. Okay, our last finalist is Bianca Buruiană, whom I invite now. Hello, Bianca. Welcome.
Hello.
to
Hello,
ingenious
Bianca.
So,
Which one is
which
your
one
jar?
is your jar? We know already.
Yes, this one.
Yeah, this is yours, and it's you came with a full jar,
Yeah.
Yes.
just like our
That's
our
nice.
first contestant.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Tell us
about,
the story.
Yes. When I first started thinking about this product, well, I thought to myself that at this point we are not just selling a good product. Of course, it's good, it's healthy, but now people are buying the why of the product, the story. And so I thought to myself, I took it personally. I started with the word organic. The first thing that came to my mind after organic is nature. Then the next word that came into my mind after nature was childhood. Because I've spent all of my summers as a child at my grandparents who do that. They make all of their food. They have animals and gardens. And,
Yes.
I used to pick up the cherries from the trees to make jam. And so, okay, I thought that this is the pivoting point of the brand. That childhood, a word good for childhood is growth, health, and ultimately life. Then I did the design with 3 elements. The first element, the basis, is the circle. The circle is a symbol for continuity, but also I believe that the circle is the road we've been making with food. We started eating very healthy, all natural ingredients, and then came the industrialization, the mass production, the chemicals in the food, and now we are going back to healthy lifestyle, back to nature. So I thought that this is very important. Then I put another one because I wanted to give it a dynamic of the logo, and then also because I think 2 represent, one is the source, the nature, the Romania, where it's made, and the other one is the receiver, the people who benefit from that. The next element is a leaf, because it represents life, growth, that's very relatable. And the third one was the font, which is handwritten font. And it personally reminded me of, when you make your homemade jar, you take a pen and write, this is jam, yes, of course. And overall, it gives it an homemade, natural, going back home, grandparents' childhood. That's all about it. And the color palette is very simple, yet elegant, in a premium one.
That's right.
Yeah, you summed it up well.
Good sales pitch also, right?
Yeah. Such good presentation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Put it back here.
Yes, please.
Okay. And now I'm gonna turn them the other way around.
Yeah,
see that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we can
Bianca.
see
Thank
them.
you very much.
Hold on, just
Oh,
let me
sorry,
just
you-
quickly
Yeah.
say that also really good job there. I definitely, I think one of the things that stand out for me are actually the choice of the font. Because, although it is a font, most of those handwritten fonts, I don't know, somehow don't really look good. But
Yeah,
this one is a really,
good.
really
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
choice.
Yeah,
loved it.
really, that popped out.
Generally, also, I think the design is clean and it would work very well. So,
Thank
yeah, really good job there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Congratulations
Thank you.
for being here. Well, now the tough part of the show comes in. I tried to delay it as
Yeah.
much as I could. So I'm going to turn this
Yeah, for us.
so that we can,
Yes,
connect the stories
Wow.
and the labels. And now it's it's our turn.
Well, yeah, I have to say that after hearing the concept, the motivation, it made it even harder to choose one.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is absolutely true.
yeah, because the stories that are behind the design, they are all very consistent
Yes.
and with a personal touch.
Yeah.
And very well thought and very well presented, I have to say.
Yeah,
All of
and-
them,
Agree.
but besides the emotion they visibly had, and also in English. So
Yeah.
I want to congratulate them also for this part.
Yeah, and let's also say that we actually congratulate all the 63 people who
Yeah, of course.
joined and worked on these projects because
Absolutely.
they
yeah,
won.
we,
just by being
yeah,
there.
we did. Yeah. This.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was really, really great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
So so each project has something that stands out, and each one has a different way of being a very good one, an interesting one. One has the font, the other one has the tree, which has a very strong story, put in a house, and that's very clever. And the other one is really easy to remember, the sun, right? The symbol of the sun. The other one has the colors of the earth and the house, which is also very well integrated. The other one has the leaf, which is handmade, and it's absolutely sure that it has a simple logo, which is totally original. And it's also put in a jar. It's like,
Yes, it's very nice.
It's really difficult to make a choice. I think
It kind of is. Let me just say quickly, I think all of them in the detail, because there were some, smaller instructions that were not just the visual, but also, with regards to the label and information on it and so on. But all of them, I think, have just little tweaks that still need to be made for it to be perfect. But I don't want to look at that, because that's just really a, probably a 1-minute thing to change or something like that. But overall, I think we can really talk about, like, that's the idea, the final design. I don't want to at this point really look at anything small or minuscule. That doesn't count so much. I do have a favorite though over here, and I'm actually pretty sure about number 2 and 3 also.
Okay.
You want to know?
So,
or do you want to think about yours first?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
You're going to influence us
Should
if
we
you tell us.
vote or
No,
point some?
maybe we should just state our preferences, and Frank is going to be the last because he's going to choose. If he tells us what
then
he
you
thinks,
first.
then we're going to
Yes.
go. You're the
No,
guest.
you're first. No,
You're the guest.
No,
please.
you're first. No, because I'm, well.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So number 3. Do you want to start with number 3 or number 1?
I don't know. As I say, it's kind of difficult because we have. I would like to point something for all the competitors. In fact, that they had many requirements to meet, and as a first impression when we received the projects was that maybe many of them they didn't thought at an important requirement that it's a kind of upscale product. Many of them, even they had like very good designs, they didn't meet this special requirement that Frank it was in the brief.
That's true.
And so I have to say that maybe some of them they were eliminated just because
They didn't look premium, or
they didn't look premium enough. So those who made here, as Frank said, that maybe some of them they would need a little tweak, touch, and yes, to look even more premium, other than the design. So more like the material itself, some details which usually they are students. They never produced something before, something maybe so printed professionally. So there are a lot of details that can be improved just through printing techniques that are coming after the actual drawing.
Yes, that's a really good point.
Yes.
Because one of the things that
can
almost nobody
upscale.
really worked with is that we were just focusing on the actual design of the logo or of the label. But in total, when you think about design, definitely you need to think about also the materials that you use, the actual
quality
jars,
of the
shapes that you use,
yes.
the lid colors and so on. So really, because one design can look okay on one jar and absolutely amazing on the right one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had something of because they had like a choice of 3 types of jars, like round, square, and hexagonal. And in fact, it's just a coincidence that all the finalists are on a round.
That's true.
But we received all type of jars, so we had like very good labels on other type of jars that looked very.
I think it's also difficult as a whole to combine the idea of natural, raw, as close to nature as you can, and premium.
Absolutely.
In the same
That was the actual challenge.
It's a big
it's a big
Yeah.
challenge.
It's a big
Yes,
challenge.
yes, it's a big challenge.
Because you want it to look premium, but you don't want it to look too posh.
Yes.
And too,
Yeah.
you want it to look homey and warm, and that's really challenging. I don't know how they did it, but they
No,
they did a very
this would
good
be
job.
this is the biggest challenge for me also.
Yeah.
When I was thinking about, okay, so what do I really want? It sounded like I needed to do the things that are, that are opposite of each other, but and I've actually asked the students to combine something that seems to be contrary to each other.
Yes.
But I think they managed to do it. So.
Yeah. I think we're procrastinating. Do you have the
Yes,
same
we do.
feeling?
I think you guys need to tell
No,
the audience now what your
Yeah. So,
what your ranking
cut
here
to
is.
the chase.
Let's cut to the chase.
It's a
yeah.
tough moment. Anyway, we don't make the decision, so we have the easy part. Frank makes the decision.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I will say that I really have number 1 and 2 and 3. It's like kind of equal.
Equal. So
yeah.
what's number 1 for you?
Yes,
Number 1, it's this one. So it would be like this for me.
Okay.
And 2 and 3 are the full jars.
The full jars.
The full jars. So the
Okay.
jam and the honey.
So let me show to the camera again.
Yeah, again.
So that
Yeah.
everybody sees that this would be first.
First,
And
this.
so this is
the
1, and these 2,
3.
very
20,
hard
yes.
to decide between them. Okay.
For you. No, it's
Now
your
I know my options, so I don't know which number 1 is for me.
Okay.
Because I'm really not sure about it. But
Let's say the
Now you're
3.
procrastinating.
Okay. So let's say the
I
3.
really find it very difficult to choose the number 1. Maybe well, now that you made your choice, maybe I'm more inclined to go in that direction. But for me, the let's say the three top ones. Although honestly, it's really tough. Were these 3. So I also chose this one for the font and the natural look,
Yeah.
and this one because it has the earthy colors, and I really thought that using black, although it gives premium quality to the label, it is too far away from the more natural look that I would have loved. So those are my choices. I don't know which one
Okay.
is number
Yes,
1.
okay.
I don't know. Probably this as well, because it's more sophisticated, and yeah, it's taken further.
Okay, now
Okay.
Frank, it's your now it's your turn.
But
the moment of
Yeah.
I
truth.
also like this one.
Yeah, I like.
Anyway,
yeah.
We already said that we like all 5,
we
right?
Yeah.
like all that. So it's really bad. It's a really bad situation.
Okay, so
No.
I'm glad that actually both of you at least tend to agree, although you have difficulty saying this is it.
Okay.
That is actually the winner for me here.
Okay.
And for 2 and 3, I can also say for 2 and 3 it's actually for me these 2.
Okay.
Where I would actually say this is the number 3 and this is the number 2.
Okay.
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 So
Makes sense?
all right.
Yeah.
So both of us have one.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Point with
Yes. Yes.
Frank.
No. As I said, it was difficult, and we choose them for different more. I'm just glad that we agree for the first prize, which is, I think it's very important, because this means that it has a powerful message, and it really can be developed, and I think Frank will have like a strong brand image
Yeah, definitely.
That's true.
Definitely.
with it. So
So it's easy with the number 1, because we all seem to agree. It's more difficult with number 2 and 3.
I can say I don't. Well, honestly,
Yeah,
I
please.
didn't choose this number 2 because it kind of has a similarity in the design with the number 1. So I wanted to
Is that a good reason?
because they are like, after the
Easy
number,
Yeah.
it's very difficult. So in between 2 very similar, I choose something to promote something different. That was
Just to make it easier for Frank.
Yeah, well.
But honestly, I think that that jar is good, precisely because it is a bit more developed in terms of concept.
Yeah.
So it's a bit more. I think it's a bit more sophisticated.
yeah.
Well, you know why I don't like the black one, but also I like it, but I see, it's not that I don't like it, I really like it, but if I have to choose between a black label and any other color, white or earthy color, I think this takes me too far from the idea of homey, although this is, in a way, it has some elements that make
Yeah.
it
Definitely. Yeah.
And
That
with
makes
gold,
it homey.
and with gold, it can look more premium.
Well,
I would
actually-
say.
I'll tell you something. I think this particular one will completely shine with the right materials and the right proportions.
Yeah.
Then I think it will just probably also really make a very different. I see that, in front of
Yeah.
my eyes. I just see that this has this potential.
Let me just say that two or three
Yeah.
members of my team, because we had a full
Yeah.
brainstorming in house,
Okay.
in Ingenious Hub. So 2 or 3 of my team chose that one for the first place. So,
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
not surprised.
so
I'm
yeah,
not surprised.
so yeah.
Yeah.
but each of the jars had supporters.
Okay, great. So now it's actually on you two. You need to make it a little bit simpler, okay? So we know the winner.
We know the winner.
You need to decide between these two what's second and what's third. Your vote?
So I would go 2 and 3.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
it's up
me
to you.
also 2 and 3. Let's.
I can live with that also.
Okay,
So
we know
we're
the
good.
winners.
So we have a
Well,
podium.
Okay.
Well, we're not very much behind schedule, so we did a pretty good job. We did a pretty good job, so we know the winners now. Let's see who are they exactly, and I'm gonna ask them to come in one at a time. Frank, what would you say? Shall we?
No, I think we can bring them all in and do
All in?
yes.
All
And
of them,
announce
so that-
the winners.
And
Yes,
then
the three
shall
ones,
we
the
tell
three
them
ones.
which is 1, 2, 3, or shall we bring them in and then we
Of
tell
course
them?
yeah. Come on, let's bring them in and then
And
you
then
can read it
and
out.
then you tell them.
You can read it out.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll read it out. Okay, so we have this would be Miruna Lup, right?
Yeah.
This is Miruna Lup. This is Alexandra Dan, I think,
Yeah.
and this is Oana Stan-Vlad.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
I think I'm right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to invite our 3 finalists. No, actually winners.
Yes.
Miruna, Maria, and Oana. Please join us for
Yes.
a brief discussion. Now let's move a little bit so
Yeah.
that we all come into the. We all have space into the camera. Let's move over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we tell them why we chose each one?
You heard a conversation?
I'm not really trying to hear answers.
They were too emotional. So
Okay. So Miruna, you are. I think you are. Your jar. Shall I bring the jars as well?
Yes. Yeah. Why not?
Let's
Yeah.
bring the jars as
Remember
well.
it.
jars. Give them the jars. Okay.
Okay. So you have the jars. You keep the jars so that everybody that's watching us remembers why you got and what was really appreciated. So Miruna, your jar came number 3. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And it's really good. Really good job.
Yeah.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You did a good job.
I'm happy and
I wish I
proud
had
to
an
be
audience so we could have a round of
Yeah.
applause.
Yeah, but we can do it. Yeah, we can have a round
Okay.
of applause. Yeah.
Your jar came. No, you can have the microphone because we have
We
our
have
own.
Yeah.
Your jar came number 2. So congratulations as well.
Congratulations to you too.
Okay. So you need no further comments.
Okay, congratulations.
So,
It's quite a privilege to be here. Oh my God, I'm having a speech.
Come on over here. Come on over here.
Oh, the
Nobody
Oscar.
can see you when
Yeah,
you're
you
over
got the
there.
Oscar.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Hello. So it's quite a privilege to be here. It was a privilege to be among the 5 as well. I never thought that I got this chance to thank I don't know myself first and my ideas and my. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what to say.
It's fine.
you're happy.
Say-
You're happy.
I'm very very happy.
We're happy for all of you.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
congratulations
Thank
to
you so
all of you. And yeah, you've all done an amazing job, and also very good presentations here with
Yeah.
very good stories behind
Yes.
all of you, all 5. And you as I said, you made us even more difficult the choice after the presentation than only seeing the project. So congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
Frank, would you like to give a bit of a brief of why we chose each
Yeah.
of the jars and
The
what was
final.
behind our decision?
Yes.
Shall we
How
start
much
with number
time do we
3?
have for that?
No.
No, just
Okay.
a brief, yeah.
So with number 3, so deciding between them is really down to almost, well, it's even hard to explain, why we would choose one over the other. I can tell that with yours, I think I love that design with the logo that you did. Also, generally, to me, also this bright, font color on a black background, it lends itself very well to something that wants to be upscale. I think when it's been experimented with the right materials to even put it on, it would probably even shine more than it does right now. So that's what I could imagine. Really loved it. And then secondly, that was yours. You're the second one. The intricacy of the logo itself, the farmhouse, the way you told the story also. But because it's such a really lovely mix between something that is vintage in a way, but still looks elegant and upscale, really works, right? So that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
almost convinced us all.
Yeah.
And with yours, this is I just felt that this one is so well thought through that I can make so much out of it, way more than what I even had in my mind in the beginning. My entrepreneurial mind already has like 5 more ideas since I saw this logo. And so really loved it, I must say. It's elegant also. It combines this thing that I thought was maybe even not so possible, that you have something that speaks to being, ecological and sustainable, and at the same time somehow luxurious, premium, and somehow you found a way to mix the two together. All of you did, but yours kind of stood out then in a way for us 3.
Yeah.
So that's why number 1, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
All 5 of you have incredible talent.
Yes.
Remember
Yeah.
that and do something with it.
It's unfortunate
Yeah.
that we don't have now other entrepreneurs who could use other ideas.
Exactly.
They were really
Yeah,
so
yeah.
good. So thank you very
Yeah.
much and congratulations. We will probably talk afterwards more with Frank. But now we have to go back to our seats.
Yes.
The
Okay.
2 guests. Thank you, ladies.
Switch off, huh?
Yeah.
Got it.
So,
They'll have with the jars.
no, that's not a problem. It's
Yeah.
it's their jars anyway. Yeah. So it was. Well, it's a good afternoon, isn't it, Frank?
It really is. I was
Yeah.
looking forward to this since these 3 months, actually, to this moment.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, you need to think about it this way. I could have also gone to a marketing agency and say, design me something, here's the briefing. But I rather wanted to take actually the risk and work with young talent together with the faculty. On the one hand side, because I really believe in, first of all, giving young people a chance. Secondly, because I also was hoping that I actually also get more choice if many people participate. However, the risk was that maybe almost nobody participates, and maybe I don't get a result that I want. And then I would have at least, wasted a lot of time, and then would have to hurry up. But I wanted to take that risk, and it turns out it wasn't a risk at all. It was actually the best idea I could have.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I would say so. I would say so too. I'm not sure you would have gotten such rich concepts and such
Variety.
interesting and variety of
Variety
ideas.
of
Yes.
If you went for a company,
Yes.
for an agency.
Yeah, they probably produce 2 or 3 ideas, then you have to choose
more or less similar.
more or less. Yeah.
More or less similar,
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your students?
I'm
their
now I'm very happy about their participation and about the outcome. They did a really wonderful job, and have to say that we have many competitions, many contests in our school, because in the last years companies started to know that, or to come towards to the university for different solutions, from interior design to brand design, because this was really the first for brand design. So we're trying to expose our students. In fact, it's real life, and we're trying also to teach them with these occasions that they have also to respect some rules for the real life. And they kind of, this time they did it. They managed, they did it. And I'm very glad about this, and I hope that maybe other investors are not here, but maybe they are seeing this live stream, and they will come to us, because we have talented students, and they can employ them and further. And so I'm sure that it will have this exposure through your channel in Genius Hub. Will give even more opportunities to our students. And thank you for this.
You're more than welcome. Thank you both for doing what you do, and for you for taking the risk, which was not a risk at all. It turned out.
Turns out.
But at the time when you took the decision, it was definitely a risk. You also had the risk to not have a positive answer from the faculty in the first place.
That also.
But, yes, but then it didn't happen. So it was a happy ending story, so to speak. Although the story just begins, because Back to Good is only starting to be born. It's in the process. It's not on the market yet. It's gonna. Do you know when it's gonna come out? Do you have a plan?
At the beginning of next year.
At the beginning of next year.
Yes.
Okay. Good. That's great. Hopefully, it will really tell this beautiful story that the students. All of them felt
I have so many stories to tell.
Yeah.
Romania is a treasure of stories.
It is, yes, definitely. And also a treasure of talents.
That too.
Yeah.
So young entrepreneurs as well as older entrepreneurs, experienced entrepreneurs, don't forget that there are a lot of talented students that you can turn to. And as you can see, deans are not scary at all. They're actually quite very nice and kind, and they're welcoming. So don't be shy, and turn to universities and to faculties and ask for ideas, initiate such projects, because it's a good opportunity both for businesses and for the students to start connecting with the market and participating actively into it. I'm also sure it's economically wiser as well, because it's definitely well invested money. Whenever it's a price, it's definitely a better price than you would get from an agency for a better result. And I'm not talking just about branding. You can. This is just an example, because we have this faculty, this specific faculty in this specific project. But this can happen in almost any field where there is a faculty with students in it that can work in a contest. And we will also always be happy to promote such projects, because we think it's a really wise idea to do this kind of partnerships, which are really frequent and a very good and highly used way for corporations and companies to recruit, to improve projects, to go to several trials with different projects, to test ideas together with students, to get ideas in brainstorming. So abroad, all over Europe, as well as in the US and in other important economic centers, this is an everyday practice. So hopefully young entrepreneurs can do this as well. I don't think it's just for corporations. Frank is not a corporation. Frank is, as far as the Romanian market is concerned, you are a young entrepreneur.
This is it? Yes. Makes me feel good. You said that in a very nice way.
Because you started, you're only starting a business in Romania now, right?
May I add one little thing to what you just said?
Please.
Addressing the other entrepreneurs. I think in addition to that, it is has several advantages to work with universities and with young talent. I think that we also have an actual responsibility to support and develop young talent.
Yeah.
It's not just about, us making a deal, about getting something and giving something in return. This is a responsibility for a society.
Exactly.
And as an entrepreneur, you have these opportunities to help develop the talent. And it's an absolute must in my view. Everybody should be doing this or something similar.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. Thank you so much for bringing this perspective in. It's always good to say these things as often as we can until everybody joins in this kind of actions. Okay, so thank you very much for being here. Do you have any other messages for our audience? A final message.
One final one to everybody else who has participated. I really want to say thank you for the time that you spent on it. And I really hope that you have learned something along the way, whether you ended up being a finalist or winner or not, and that it was just an experience worthwhile. I have enjoyed it greatly, and having met many of you, it was a very pleasant experience I will just remember for the rest of my life.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Frank, for such an encouraging message.
Thank you. Also, I want to thank our students that they responded to this contest so well. And hopefully they will do this in the future also, because we already had other competitions coming, so be prepared to do even more work. But I think this is just a preparation for the real life and even contact with real life, because your projects, the winning ones, are going ahead and are launched on the market, and they will live a long life. So
incredible reference.
It's a great portfolio
start.
It's
a great portfolio start. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. And also, as you said about the other different industries, all the Western countries and all over the world, the universities are working very close with the industry in research. So the industry, small or big, are addressing to universities for research. Maybe some people don't know what to ask from a University of Architecture and Urban Planning and Design as us, but as Frank find his way from Germany, I hope that also Romanian investors or entrepreneurs will find their way more often towards our university. We can do a whole range of projects, as you can see from.
Yes, absolutely.
Just pick up the phone and call.
Thank you. Exactly. Just pick up the phone and call.
Yeah.
So thank you both very much for accepting the invitation to come here and have this final round at the Ingenious Hub. And having a live broadcast. I'm sure it was a bit of a challenge for us to set up the whole thing, but it worked. I hope it worked well. And looking forward to hearing about new projects, hearing about Back to Good and its future, its opening. Hopefully we'll be around for the opening as well.
We'll be back.
Along the way.
Waiting to taste the product.
And yes, absolutely. Mulțumesc foarte mult tuturor că ne-ați urmărit. Sper că v-a făcut plăcere să fiți alături de noi și alături de studenții finaliști în acest mic concurs, în această mică rundă finală a concursului, care n-a fost deloc ușoară. Vă aștept în continuare să rămâneți alături de noi pe Ingenious Live și, repet, nu uitați, nu întâmplător am avut această ediție, tocmai pentru a aminti faptul că puteți apela la universități și la facultăți atunci când doriți să lucrați idei noi, proiecte noi, să începeți ceva la care simțiți nevoia să aveți un input mai larg și un pic de prospețime, pentru că studenții vor veni întotdeauna cu un aer proaspăt, fără a fi viciați de idei deja consumate. Deci e o bună pistă pentru tot ce înseamnă cercetare, cum spunea și doamna decan, tot ce înseamnă idee nouă, testare a unor idei noi, brainstorming, spuneți-i cum vreți, și este o foarte bună soluție pentru a identifica talentele care merită să fie luate pe drumurile voastre alături de voi. Vă mulțumesc și o zi frumoasă în continuare.